What a win for the Philadelphia 76ers. Arguably one of the best of the season. A close win in overtime, 128-122. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers postgame show, live from the Xfinity studio, along with Rich. I'm Devon Bree, the president of basketball operations. Great job by her putting this one together tonight so fast. All of you jumping in quickly after this one. What a win for the 76ers. We are presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary, never with the Sixers at Bet365. Make sure you tap in, leave your comments in here, like and subscribe to the show. Tell a friend to tell another friend to jump on in. We'll effort Kyle and Derek from the arena, and we'll certainly hear from all of your super chats and your comments here tonight. We had a fantastic game. Overtime, regulation, what is going on? Because, hey, where are the officials not calling the goaltend? Great defensive plays from Paul George down the stretch after not having a great overall game. Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. That's what you have there. Really good win, Rich, for the Philadelphia 76ers. Now 24-19. They are off on Friday, not back until Saturday. Man, what a way for them to fight back and pick up this gutsy win.
Devon, that was an awesome game.
Really good to win.
That was an awesome game, and I would have said the same thing if they had lost, but it's much more fun to say it after a win. And I guess the main thing, the thing I will lead with, is that the ball was not lying, my friend.
Tell him, Rashid.
Woo. I did not want to come on here after this game and talk about that goaltend where Tyrese Maxey blows by Amen Thompson and gets a layup with a couple seconds left in the game. And then they call an inadvertent whistle when I think they thought Houston was going to call a timeout. Oh, man. Those refs, the last 2 minutes is just going to be a disaster. It's going to be, there's going to be blood everywhere. It's bad. Anyway, great job by the Sixers, who played a great, fun 48 minutes. Wasn't always, it was uneven at times. The transition defense was terrible both ways, but a really fun game, withstanding an amazing Kevin Durant performance, withstanding Houston getting on the offensive glass, which they do to everybody in the league. Devon, believe it or not, that was actually a below average offensive rebounding game for Houston. It felt like they got every one of those. For the Sixers to settle down in overtime, and really all five guys make big plays down the stretch to turn that game from, it could have been a disaster. I was watching the Flyers game last night. They made a mistake. They lost in overtime. Sixers did the opposite tonight. They settled down. Refs gave them a bad call. That's fine. Let's execute in overtime. And they did it. It was all five guys. It starts with Paul George getting that wide pin down and making the three. They run that play again, and PG, he kind of gets stood up. It's an uneven shot, but guess who makes an unbelievable offensive rebound on that play? VJ Edgecombe, who had been pretty quiet for most of the game. You have Paul George getting another big block. You have Kelly Oubre driving in transition for a layup. You have Tyrese Maxey getting buckets in transition, and him and Joel Embiid ending up with huge numbers. So that is a fun win. That is one that this team, I think, desperately needed, because we were sitting on, what was it, a 2-3 homestand so far. What wasn't the best, had blown some winnable games, some close games, to get over the finish line in a game where I thought the Rockets did play pretty well and withstand that level of Kevin Durant performance. It's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to talk about it for the next hour.
No, man, the ball don't lie. I mean, look, everybody, let's just talk about the end of regulation. First of all, the Sixers had to fight back, as Rich talked about. They had to overcome so much. A lot of it their own doing, and they had to come back. But the resiliency, as Rich talked about, to find a way to dig deep, to overcome all the mistakes that they had made, to put themselves in the hole that they were in at that time. They good defense. They finally defensive rebound. They get some really good stops. And even when you get a bad matchup, Tyrese Maxey on Kevin Durant gets the bucket. They leave Kevin Durant open for a three-pointer on the wing. He misses two. Because they get offensive rebounds, they don't give up. They still get in there. Kelly Oubre with a great floor rebound right against the baseline against two Houston Rockets defenders, and he keeps the basketball without going out of bounds, finds his teammate, all of that. And then you get to the possession after Paul George gets the steal. Tyrese Maxey, it's about 7 seconds. I'm yelling at Rich and Bree, go now, right? At like 7.2 on the clock, I'm saying, go now. Because if you miss, you give yourself an opportunity for an offensive rebound, which the Sixers did offensive board tonight. So with their offensive rebounds, they were hitting the glass. It was 15-9 in favor of Houston, but you did have 9. You are crashing. And as you pointed out on one particular possession with Joel Embiid, he was really, really engaged, and he was getting off the floor. He was attacking the backboard, and you give yourself a chance. He gets by Amen Thompson. Great drive. After Tyrese Maxey looked so tired all night long, great drive, off the bounce, one-handed scoop into the rhythm of what he needed to do, which was get the basketball on the backboard, try to convert the layup. He does everything right. The officials don't do everything right. On that particular play, Kevin Durant blocks it, Amen Thompson blocks it, both already after the ball hits the backboard. Bad missed call by the officials.
And let's before you keep going and talk
Please,
about the
because
rest
this
of it,
needs to be talked about.
I think we have to credit Maxey for changing it up, right? Because we've seen the Sixers at the end of games, they give the ball to Maxey, and he ends up taking, normally step back jumpers. And the thought there, which is not, it's not great, but it's also something that's understandable, is we are going to take the last shot, and we are not going to risk going to overtime. I think Amen Thompson thought, okay, yeah, he's got a couple more seconds before he gets into his move here. Tyrese Maxey, just a complete blow-by, goes fast and gets all the way to the rim, like you said. Yeah, that really worked. Obviously, the refs did not give him the call that he deserved, but he changed things up. Remember a couple weeks ago, Jalen Pickett fumbling the ball on the sidelines
100%.
and unable to do it. He was assertive and made this move to the hoop. Didn't work out, but give him credit for that. And I think that was the story of Maxey's night, right? Like he could not shoot the ball straight from the three-point line. I don't know what's going on. He shot 2 of 10 from 3, and sometimes when he shoots 2 of 10 from 3, it's like, okay, he's taking some tough ones. He's taking some tough step backs, and that's what the best player does sometimes. He got great looks all night, man. He got great looks. Joel was getting double teamed. The Rockets, who switch everything, were botching switches left and right. They were getting Sengun in every sort of action, and he just could not make a 3. But if I'm looking at this box score right, Devon.
Yeah.
He shoots 2 of 10 from 3, 15 of 28 overall. That's 13 of 18 from 2. And towards the end of the game, man, he just started putting his head down in transition. The Rockets weren't playing great transition defense. He was getting all the way to the rim. The combination of that and him attacking Sengun in multiple different ways. They were running actions that I haven't seen the Sixers run since James Harden was here. They ran the play where Kelly would come pin down for him and he'd come off 2 screens coming to his left. I haven't seen that play in 2 years with James Harden coming here. They ran other off-ball plays for Maxey. They just ran the 2-man game where Maxey ended up making the shot. Anyway, that was kind of the story of the night for Maxey. And then, yeah, here is the play where the ball goes off the backboard. And I just feel like we've seen this story all year. We've just seen Nick Nurse, he has about as much hair as I do. But he's tearing whatever he has left out. Just like, I can't believe you blew that call at the end of the game. It reminds me of the game where they didn't grant him the timeout when he called it. I believe that was against Atlanta.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the other Atlanta game, the backcourt violation that was, NBA refs were talking about. So, yeah, a little bit of a wild ending there, but credit to the Sixers. Maybe it's because they've dealt with these bad calls at the end of games. They're like, hey, all right, we got to figure it out ourselves, and we got to do it ourselves. And they did. Great job.
Unbelievable for them to overcome all of that, to come back for this win with it. So just fantastic. And again, Tyrese Maxey finished with, in the second half, he finished with 18 points. And then in overtime, he does score 6 in overtime there. So 18 in the second half, 6 in overtime after a struggle like he did tonight. Great finish. We kept saying, all 3 of us, including all of you guys in the chat, he has to find a way to fight through it. He found a way after that first half where he was not good. And you can clearly see that he was not himself, as Rich just talked about. He had 12. It was on 11 shots, though. 5 for 11 on those shots. 1 for 6 from 3, 5 assists, 12 points in the first half. Sixers up 68-61. But to turn it up the way that he did in that second half, tremendous job by him. The trio of Embiid, Maxey, and Oubre combined for 94
That's a lot.
94 of the Sixers' 128 points tonight. We'll get to Paul George with his 10, Edgecombe with his 9. They made some great defensive plays down the stretch. But the 94 points among those three, fantastic work tonight from them. So let's talk about the player of the game here tonight, because it doesn't start with him, but man, it kind of starts with him. Joel Embiid, 32 points tonight on 10 for 19 shooting, 11 for 12 from the free throw line. He had 10 assists, 15 rebounds, 5 turnovers, so we're not going to act like they didn't happen. 2 block shots, a steal, all in 45 minutes and 36 seconds. He played the entire overtime, and in the fourth quarter, he played, let me see really quickly, all 12 minutes. So he played the last 17 minutes of the game for Joel Embiid for his triple-double, where you kind of just overlook it and say, all right, I know he had the rebounds and the points. I didn't realize he had 10 assists. And look how efficient he was, 10 for 19, finishing at the basket. A few of those, of course, at the free throw line extended for his jump shot. He had a big 3 for the Sixers on the wing where they needed it badly.
Were they down like 8?
Yes. And he cut it to 5 right there.
That's when the game felt like it was slipping away.
Right. Yeah. Huge 3. After Maxey missed 2 wide open threes, one from the corner by himself in transition, and another one when the ball swung to him and missed.
That's a huge shot. That is
huge 3.
We're probably not even talking about the goaltend and all that stuff if that doesn't
go. Big time 3 right there from Joel Embiid. Again, the 5 turnovers, they happen. We discussed that a little bit more if they lose this basketball game. But Rich, a triple-double, and he played 45 minutes and 36 seconds. We knew he was fatigued at the end. There was a play that happened where I think it was after he turned the ball over right in the final 20 seconds, I believe it was, and Paul George again makes the really good defensive play down the stretch. But he turned it over, and the camera pans to him, and he's tugging at his shorts, man. Tugging at his shorts. Again, all of the fourth quarter, before overtime, he's tugging at his shorts, rightfully so, from all the time that he played. So, player of the game, Joel Embiid tonight. There were a lot. Tyrese Maxey, 36, matching Kevin Durant for a game high. But this doesn't happen tonight without the Joel Embiid game that you got.
No, he was the constant the entire game. Maxey took a little while for him to get going, and he was terrific. I think Maxey, this was a resilient game from him, but Joel was good throughout. So I'm going to talk about the one negative, but I also think it's understandable because we talked a couple days ago. We talked after Maxey's 3rd rough shooting game in 4. We said, "Oh man, well he's gassed." And even after the game, Maxey said, "I'm tired." So the Sixers' transition defense in the fourth quarter, Devon, was a disaster. It was so bad. There were multiple possessions where it's like they're not getting matched up. Reed Shepherd's walking into wide open threes because they're not matched up with Kevin Durant properly. I got to say, Joel Embiid deserves a little bit of blame for that. He was not getting back in transition. That said, that's why you can't play Joel Embiid 40 minutes, right? You just read out his time in the fourth quarter and overtime.
By the way, he's averaging 30 on the year, minutes.
Yeah, and I think right now that you have him, he's not playing back-to-backs, but it seems like he's at his best level. I think 34, 35, that's roughly the number you're looking for. Now, this was an old-school game because they could not buy any of the minutes that he was off the court. Felt like we just took a time machine back to 2019. But he was tired in the fourth quarter, and his offense was great the whole game. Defense slipped a little bit in the fourth quarter. The one thing that did give him, I think, did him a favor, I would say, is that the officiating getting screwed up at the end of the game and them trying to sort everything out, that was a long break in between regulation and overtime.
Great point.
I think he got to sit down.
That was a timeout for him.
Yeah. And by the way,
great point.
In overtime, he's contesting Jabari Smith on 3-pointers. I thought his rebounding, what did he finish with rebounding-wise in tonight's game?
6, Joe Embiid?
Yeah.
15.
Yeah, and look, there were a lot of contested ones too. I didn't like some of his transition defense, but I thought he was mixing it up in there against the tough Houston Rockets who do rebound all of the time. So it was just a great game from him. And I think we can talk about earlier in the game. It was just power basketball, man. The Rockets, they switch everything. And everybody, this is why I think Joel Embiid against a team that switches, and most of the best teams in the NBA do switch a lot of actions, they prefer to make you isolation in offense, is that Joel Embiid is going to be your switch buster, because the Sixers were just running simple pin down action for Paul George and Tyrese Maxey, and the Rockets were given switches. They were putting Jabari Smith on him. They were putting Durant and Tari Eason on him, and that's like where, Joe, you got to eat, man. You got to get on the block. You're bigger. You're stronger than these guys, and I thought he did a very good job all game of scoring. A couple nice, he had that one nice spin move in the first half. He had a couple other good moves. He got fouled on a lot of those plays. And he also found people. Like, obviously, there were some turnovers as well. I mean, a couple of those. Like, there was the turnover in overtime where Reed Shepherd snuck up from behind him. So it wasn't just all in the post. But I thought he did a good job. And I thought he created good shots for the Sixers. They didn't make all of them. I thought Maxey missed a couple in those situations. But I think that's something that they can build on. We talk about what does this team do against the best defenses in the league, teams with length, athleticism, and switchability. Well, if they don't have, like, prime Marc Gasol, throw the ball to the big guy. That's how you create advantages, and you got to trust him to either score or then pass, and that's how you create advantages. That's how the ball starts to move. And yeah, it was a little sloppy at the end of the game. He was gassed, but he got them over the finish line, and I think he can look back at playing that amount of minutes in this game, what he did when he was not gassed and what he was able to do when he was gassed to get them over the finish line, and he could be pretty proud of that effort.
No, he really should, man. Just a fantastic finish for him over the last 3 games. Where we've seen the 76ers win 2 of those last 3, as you just talked about what the record was, and the 6 that they have played already. Joel Embiid, 31.7 points per game, 9.7 boards, 5.7 assists. That's over the last 3 games for Joel Embiid. Again, all the minutes he played tonight, they don't win that one without him. The constant throughout the game, both Joel Embiid and Kelly Oubre. That's what you got tonight. Tyrese Maxey helping as the closer this evening as the Philadelphia 76ers pick up a huge win, 128-122 in overtime. Their record now stands at 24-19 on the campaign. Rockets fall to 26-16. We'll come back on the other side as we do and as we will, and we'll get to the Togo unsung hero. People, the unsung hero, you tell us who it is in the chat. We'll get to him on the other side. We'll give you the Ace Hardware temperature check as well, and we will continue to talk about this big win for the Philadelphia 76ers, 128-122, 94 combined points from Embiid, Maxey, and Oubre. We keep the conversation going on the other side. It's the PHLY Sixers postgame show.
Guys, we're all looking to save money, and that is why you got to head over to our friends at TrueMark Financial Credit Union. If you're looking for a way to grow your savings, for a limited time, TrueMark Financial is offering a 5-month certificate at 4.10 APY. With a minimum deposit of just $500, it's an easy way to put your money to work. And whether you're saving for an upcoming expense, strengthening your emergency fund, or simply putting extra cash to work, this certificate is a great option. You can open your 5-month certificate today at TrueMark.com or by visiting any one of TrueMark's 24 convenient branch locations. Annual percentage yield is accurate of January 9th, 2026, and subject to change. Certificate requires a minimum deposit of $500, federally insured by NCUA. Visit TrueMark.com for full details. That is TrueMark.com for full details.
Are you looking for something cool to do? Well, I have the great spot for you. That's Parx Casino at the Excite Center. It's one of the many things I love about my casino of choice. The Excite Center at Parx Casino is in Pennsylvania's #1 casino and is close to Philadelphia, located in Bensalem. Take the Street Road exit off of I-95 and the PA Turnpike, and boom, you are right there. The Excite Center is the state-of-the-art entertainment venue located in Parx Casino, named one of the best places to see the country's best comedians and music headliners, like Tracy Morgan in March. I'll be there. Maybe I'll see you. That's on Saturday, March 14th. Get your tickets now. How about even Thursday, January 22nd? Mark Paul is in the spot, and you want to be in the place too. Right there. Visit ParxCasino.com to buy tickets for all shows. Pre-game the shows at their amazing beer garden. Maybe play some pop culture slots, roulette cards, whatever your choice is. Parx Casino, this is how you win. You must be 21 and over. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers post-game show. Hit that like button. If you're new to the show and you're just tapping in, you said, man, that was a crazy game. Tap on in, hit that like button, like and subscribe. Tell a friend and tell another friend and then the other friend that we are here before and after every Sixers basketball game, non-game days, 3 p.m. right here on the PHLY network. PHLY Sixers podcast. Big win for the basketball team. And when you hit that like button, you're also telling us how great of a job Bree has done here on the show. Let's get to the Togo Unsung Hero, everybody, because we asked, you always deliver there in the chat. The Togo Unsung Hero, presented by Togo, the leader in operations outsourcing. Well, he was the leader for quite some time. And then Joel kind of took over, really, as things got going in that first half. And that is... You do the honors there, my man.
Kelly Oubre.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Don't trade him, Josh Harris. He's too good. You can't trade him. 26. Don't duck the tax. Don't duck the tax with Kelly Oubre. You need him. He's helpful. And this week, man, he's been terrific. 3 straight excellent games in a row. Gets the starting nod. And
26, 21 against Phoenix. 18 and 5 assists against Indiana in that loss, the one that they shouldn't. 12 against the Cleveland Cavaliers and a 2-point loss there. Just wanted to add those numbers to what you were saying.
The Red Rifle, Kelly Oubre, been playing some great hoops.
Yes.
It's funny, man. So he gets the start tonight, and that was noteworthy because they have not had a full lineup with him in the starting lineup. Like he has started some of these games, but it's been when other guys have been out. Then you put Kelly in the starting lineup. They had everybody available tonight, and they start Kelly, and it's exactly what we see when Kelly is going good. And that's when the other team puts their worst defender on him, and that's Alperen Sengun. They put him on Kelly Oubre. Kelly wins that matchup, man, and he puts 6 to 8 to 10 points on that guy in the first quarter. I think he had 11 in the first quarter in this one. He had a block. He had a nice assist to Joel Embiid. You're getting really positive production from Kelly Oubre right out of the chute. And that would be enough to justify starting him, in my opinion. If this guy is always going to give you a decent effort right away, then you can figure out the rest of the rotation later. I'm not saying he has to close in this game. Of course, he did close in this game, and he deserved to, because here's the other thing, man. But Bree had those numbers up. 10 of 14 from the field, 4 of 5 from beyond the arc. What happened, man?
Who is that man?
Did he monster Maxey's 3-point shooting and just take it from him?
Look at that. And the ball swings to him, and we're like, no, don't shoot that one. But, Rich, it's just fantastic, man, the way that he's shooting the basketball. And this is basically the clip that he was shooting at before he got hurt when we said, there's no way he can continue this hot streak.
It's the first week of the season.
Yes. And we're like, there's no way he can keep that. And even when he settled down and it started to level off, his 3-point shooting was still at a decent enough rate where you're like, okay, Kelly Oubre, I see why you're shooting that one, and you got to keep shooting it. Hats off to him, man, the Red Rocket, for the way he's shooting the basketball. What does he say? The red hair is because of how hot he is, the shooting and all that stuff? Well, it's on full display. He's like NBA Jam, right? When he's heating up, that's him with the way he's been shooting right now. What are you seeing that's different since he's settled in and got back? He's
15 of 28 from beyond the arc in his last 5 games. I don't know.
Say that again?
I think I'm adding that. Right?
No, you did. Say it again, because that's how good he's been.
Yeah, 15 of 28 from beyond the arc. Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm doing the math. I'm reading the game logs, everybody. I need to do the math there. I mean, okay, so that shooting, that's probably not sustainable. But what I am seeing from him is the stuff I talked about earlier, him getting isolation buckets against Alperen Sengun, who just can't stay in front of him. And the other night it was Johnny Furphy, who's just not strong enough or athletic enough for him. He can bring additive offense in different ways, where he's not demanding the ball, but if the ball swings to him at the end of a possession and he has a matchup, he's just going to go attack and score. And yeah, he also brings the defense and the energy, and he will fumble 3 rebounds into the stands, which is fine because he runs too hot that he just has to botch a couple of rebounds. It's funny, man. I'm going to say this. He got a lot of Kevin Durant tonight, and Dominic Barlow got a lot of Kevin Durant tonight. I thought they played great defense. I was cackling at how good the shot making was from KD. It's like, Man, I feel like I'm back in
Hats off, man.
2013 again.
You guys know this show. You guys know that's my guy, man.
Woo.
I mean, look, handshake that man because 36 years old.
He was
doing
hooping,
this.
man.
Oh, come on, man. And he was in his kitchen, right where he lives, man. He was fantastic. But go ahead on the Kelly Oubre defense as well as Barlow because they were in his chest. They were timing it properly. Barlow got him on a foul behind the three-point line early in the game, but he played it perfect. He played it right. Yeah. It was Kevin Durant, and you clipped him. You couldn't do that. Same thing with Paul George, where he got him on the elbow early in that first quarter. But Kelly Oubre has been tremendous since he has come back. The first few games, we said, okay, he and Watford are back. Who's going to get their legs underneath them faster? And we figured Oubre would get the opportunity first over Watford. But since that first 2 games where he scored in single digits, he had the 12 points in that next one against the Cleveland Cavaliers where they lost. Ever since then, he has been the Kelly Oubre that we saw before the injury. And the added three-point making, the piece that we talked about with Barlow, and this is no knock on Barlow at all, it's just more of when we discussed Barlow and his outside shooting, he'll knock an occasional three down, but they're leaving him open for a reason. When Kelly Oubre is shooting 15 for 28, as Rich is talking about since he's returned.
And he's nailing corner threes.
And he's nailing these corner threes and confidently in transition hitting some as well. They have to respect it. They're going to close out. He puts the ball on the floor. And as good as Barlow has been improving over the year at finishing at the rim, it's different when it's Kelly Oubre. You close out on him. He puts the ball on the deck. He's getting to the basket, and he's going to finish some way, somehow. And while there's still some things that you may question in transition, guys are running with him. We're screaming, pass it to him. He's right next to you. He has that tunnel vision, and the way, though, that he is playing, as efficient as he has been, it's hard to even pick at those little things when he's doing what he's doing right now for this team. So if there's any question of who's going to be in the starting lineup on Saturday, I think we know. Going forward, if he keeps playing at this level, we already know. And again, sorry, Josh Harris, you can't trade him.
You can't trade him. And we also, you mentioned Barlow. This is not a shot at Barlow.
No, not at all.
Convert him to an NBA contract, please. Because he's still very much a part of the rotation.
No Jabari Walker tonight, by the way.
No Jabari Walker. Yeah, he was the loser and kind of the shuffle. I'm sure he'll get another chance, especially when some guys are out. Although Watford did play pretty well, I thought, with the second unit. But the difference is when Barlow scores, it's like there's like an element of surprise to it. It's like, nice move. That's I didn't know you had that in you. When Kelly scores, that you don't feel that way about it, which goes to show that it's probably a more sustainable, more reliable type of thing. One other play I want to point out by Kelly, which was huge. PG makes that great block of Şengün in overtime. And as bad as the Sixers transition defense was in the second half, the Rockets did not play good transition defense either. Part of that is that they crashed the glass. And that's, we talk about the push and pull with the Sixers defensive scheme, with them gambling for steals and then giving up open threes. Well, the Rockets crashing all of these guys to the glass, that leads to transition buckets. And as I think we can see here, Bree has the play up for us here. Kelly Oubre sees that the floor is scrambled, and I think he didn't notice it right away after the PG block. I think he was going to try and bring the ball up, slow, get it to Tyrese or whatever.
Don't get picked from behind.
But then he sees the lane, and he just hits it, man. He hits it, and he scores. That's a huge bucket. Crowd's going nuts. I think VJ gave him the flex afterwards because he was under the rim.
How many of those plays were plays before where we're like, again, no, don't do that. But you got to allow him to do that. When he's feeling the way he's feeling, you got to let it happen.
Yeah. So great game for Kelly. Great week for Kelly too. Like great week. And I think we can start to talk about this is one of his best seasons. I know it got derailed for almost 2 months with the knee injury, and that was a serious thing, and it took him a while to get back from it. But when he has been healthy this year, everybody, Kelly Oubre has been playing good basketball, and that's coming from somebody who has been a critic of him in the past. He's playing great.
Fantastic basketball from Kelly Oubre. He is our tonight, and rightfully so. Phil W., salute. I see you in there. Yes, salute Phil W. Bree, throw all the Phil W. messages up there, up on the screen, because Phil W. says, man, pay Oubre. All I'm saying is pay Oubre. I told y'all Devon Oubre is a 20-point scorer. Never said he wasn't a 20-point scorer. He has averaged 20 points in his career in Charlotte, all that great stuff. Phil, you're the agent. Get it done. He has been fantastic all season long, even with the hiatus, because when he was down, of course, with the injury, he did not play. You saw his worth when he was out. Even when they were winning games, you can definitely see it. Definitely see it in the losses where they miss Kelly Oubre. So with that, tonight, Kelly Oubre, our Togo unsung hero, presented by Togo, the leader in operations outsourcing. Let Togo handle the work that gets in the way of your work. You call the plays, we execute.
Phil's getting mad at me for saying best season as a Sixer, man. Best season as a Sixer?
Yeah. Phil's trying to get that 15%.
His first season was good.
Get that 15%, Phil. He's been fantastic in his role, man. His first season was really good.
His first season was good, but I don't know, man. Like, he's stringing together some. I thought Embiid and Maxey, he was sort of playing off them in the first season. And obviously, Maxey has taken a step up, and Embiid has sort of worked his way into playing really good basketball. I don't know, man. I feel like he's kind of doing this on his own a little bit more. I thought he was kind of put in the perfect spot then. I don't know, man. When I see him score against Sengun and really just pick apart these bad matchups, I'm just wildly impressed by it.
Yeah, I got to pull Bree on this one. Bree, open the mic for this one, because let's just go back to Media Day. All three of us were there at Media Day. You were talking to someone else on the side. Me and Bree were talking to Oubre, where our guy Mike was walking him around from station to station. Mm-hmm. And Oubre, we were talking to him, and Bree, he was just talking about how good he felt, right? Coming into the season, all the stuff that they were doing with their open runs, and how good he felt about the team and his role within it all, right?
That's right. I remember that. And obviously I was excited. But yes. He was talking about all of that coming into the season, and obviously we know like the red hair metaphor and all that.
Yep.
So
it bled right into the start of the regular season. If we remember the comeback game that they had against Boston, thanks, Bree. The comeback game that they had against Boston, Rich, he had a really good game. Remember Oubre, it was Embiid, of course, being there. So that was number one. That was a great storyline in and of itself, that he was active for game number one of the season. Then it was the Tyrese Maxey doing Tyrese Maxey. And hold on, who is this rookie doing the stuff that he's doing? Kelly Oubre gets lost in that first game where he scored a little bit. And then
he made the go-ahead shot too.
And then it just kept going.
Corner three, right?
Yeah. And then again, he gets that injury and it kind of throws things off. But it was never lost on us of his importance and the absence that was there, clearly there, because of how good he had played as a two-way player for this team before he went down. And he has been back, man. Fantastic. Very, very. He was worthy of more than just the unsung hero. He's worthy of player of the game tonight. But it just so happened that Joel Embiid had that triple-double, and Joel looks like he's, as people keep saying, looks like he's back. So, all right, let's take our next break here on the show. When we come back, we got to talk about who's heating up, who's cooling off. We might as well just keep talking about the heating up in this basketball game. We'll do that on the other side. The Ace Hardware temperature check. Sixers win 128-122 in a thriller. How many thrillers have they had this? My goodness.
Too many.
Cardiac kids, man. That just happens all the time this season. Sixers win. It's a big one. Stay with us. We'll be back right here at PHLY Sixers postgame show. All right, I was heading into work this morning because we had an early morning meeting, and I said, you know what? I forgot to grab something out of the house. No worries. Right to Wawa I go. It's right near my home, and it's an institution here in Philadelphia. So if you ever want to go from 5 to 11 a.m., you make sure you hit up Wawa for the great offer, the $5 deal where you can get any Sizzly, any size hot or iced coffee, and a hash brown, all for $5 at Wawa. So for me, I was starving. You know what I needed? I needed my Sizzly, sausage and cheese on a biscuit. Good to go. I'm good there. French vanilla coffee and the hash brown. Now I'm ready to go, sit in this meeting and feel pretty good. I'm ready to discuss some things, all because I was able to go to the great place that is Wawa. Once again, available only in the morning from 5 to 11 a.m. If your morning calls for something sweet, then try the new caramel and chocolate craze flavors as well. No need to overthink breakfast. Just grab, go, and get on with your day. Gotta have a Wawa.
Guys, everybody's got their favorite hard tea, but have you ever turned the can to read what's in it? You cannot, because they do not tell you. And while they hide what's inside, our friends at Crooked Tea brag about it. Crooked Tea brews real USDA organic tea for real flavor with zero sugar, no fake junk hiding behind the label. What you see is what you drink. So next time when you're at the store, do me a favor, guys. flip the can, and if you can't find the ingredients, just put it back, then grab a Crooked tea, 0 sugar, real tea, and it's fully transparent. You know at Philadelphia, real recognizes real, so why drink the fake stuff? Crooked tea is the only thing better than a strip sack in the Super Bowl. So do me a favor and visit crookedtea.com to find a store near you.
We are back here on the PHLY Sixers post-game show following another thrilling win for the Sixers, 128-122. Let's get to the Ace Hardware temperature check, presented by Ace Hardware Home Services. Make sure you visit acehardwarehomeservices.com before you get started on your next project. I have two. Let's see if you agree. Scoring-wise, these two guys did not have great games.
No.
However, because they combined for 19 points. But they combined for 4 steals, 1 block. That was one player with the 1 block, obviously. But their defense towards the end of regulation and in overtime, I'm saying the defense of VJ Edgecombe and Paul George, despite their 19 points combined tonight on 8 for 18 shooting, I'm focusing on their defense and what they did to help secure this win. They have heated up tonight for the Ace Hardware temperature check.
So there was a lot going on in overtime, man. And it's kind of hard to keep track of all of it because it was a fast-paced game. Rockets are making all these threes. KD's brilliant. Sixers, Maxey feels like he's laying the ball in the basket every other possession. A small thing that I liked from two of the Sixers' older players, 2 guys who have been around the block and have seen a lot of NBA basketball, was that we already talked about how Joel Embiid was struggling with, his wind a little bit. Again, he played 45 minutes, so I think that's totally understandable. But for a lot of the game, he's guarding Şengün, who the Rockets, besides KD, are running their offense through. Paul George took that matchup for a little bit down the stretch, and they told Joel, you know what? You spend a couple possessions guarding Jabari Smith Jr., just try and contest the shot, but they're not going to run any offense through Jabari Smith Jr. Joel, I think he contested a few of those where he missed those shots, and Paul George is sort of the Swiss Army knife where you put him on Şengün, and yeah, that is a little bit of a mismatch, but it was one of those games where, and this was on both sides, where these teams were getting steals, and these teams were, when teams were entering the ball into the post, it just felt like a smaller defender was reaching their long arms around them and getting the steal, and that's what Paul George sort of did, right? He helped on the back line with Şengün, and then he comes up with that huge block down the stretch. And look, that's a big deal. Paul George, for a lot of this game, did not think he was very good. Devon can tell you, in like the third quarter, I'm like, oh my gosh, Paul George is killing them.
Yeah.
But made some big plays on defense down the stretch, made a huge 3 late in the fourth quarter. I think they were down 5, and they had just given up a 3 on the other end. Maxey gambled for a steal. I forget who it was. Might have been Eason who made a 3. Big 3 with a couple minutes left. Embiid falls on the floor and is just like looking for somebody. Paul George in the corner, a little bit of a tough catch, knocks down the shot. Some big shots for Paul George down the stretch. So yeah, man, it was one of those games where you look at Tyrese Maxey, I called it a resilient game from him, but it was a resilient game from Paul George too. He did some very positive things down the stretch, particularly on the defensive end, in a game where he didn't really have it, and that's good to see.
Yeah, it really was, man. And for Paul George to get that 1 steal on the sideline, VJ Edgecombe, just this constant, swiping at the basketball, creating opportunities. We keep talking about finding different ways to impact the game and doing other things to help you win the basketball game. And their defense didn't have the shot making, all of that. Paul George had, who was the defender where he got underneath the basket? He backed him in, got underneath the basket, and we're like, all right, he's going to do the old man, get it up there, get the shot up off the glass and win and make it, but it didn't work out. But he didn't give up. Comes back down the other way, hits that big 3, though, at the top of the key, and you pointed out, again, that was great action where... That's good. Good action coming around that.
They need to do more of that.
Get Paul George top of the key, knock that 3-point shot down.
He should be taking like 2 2 of those off.
2 of those a game,
Come
2 in the corner, 1 on the wing. That's 5 a game for him, and 30+ minutes for Paul George.
It's not just about getting him involved too. That
opens up Embiid.
Yeah, the defense has to react to that. There are other things they can do.
Because guess who's the willing passer? Paul George is going to hit him on a dive where he's able to do that. And if that happens, the rotation of the defense funnels towards Joel Embiid. Dominic Barlow, VJ Edgecombe, somebody coming along that baseline. Joel is willing to throw a lob or a bullet pass to whoever's that cutting player there along that baseline. So for our Ace Hardware temperature check, we didn't want to go too far without speaking about them, and we wanted to highlight their defense, even though the offense was not there for them tonight. Maybe it's there over the next few games. VJ Edgecombe, Paul George, late defense in the regulation and in overtime. They are the heating up players for our Ace Hardware temperature check. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. Rich, the run, though, that the Sixers made, partly because, well, it's not partly. They played decent enough defense to go along with mixing in some offense, thankfully. They had finished on I had it written down, 29-15 towards the end of regulation and in overtime to erase the deficit and come back and win this basketball game.
They didn't stop.
They did not stop.
They didn't stop. They stopped in the middle of the fourth quarter where, Reed Shepherd's getting transition threes. KD's getting easy ones. Yeah, and they lost him a few times. That was a wildly entertaining game, guys. It was up and down. The floor was unbalanced on both sides. And look, the Sixers just kept going. And I think that's part of the appeal of having Maxey and Edgecombe is those guys just don't stop. And Tyrese, even if he's not making his shots, he's going to keep continuing to attack. I did love the hat he was wearing in the postgame. Did you see this?
Yes.
Derek, I believe, had it on social media. He has a VJ Max branded hat at the podium, Mr. Tyrese Maxey did.
Love it. Love it. Look at that. By the way,
he's feeling himself.
I know the creator of the hat.
Oh, you want to shout him out?
Great job, Jay. Jay's going to drop the hat off here at the office. So, Jay, great job on the hat, man. I'm glad Tyrese Maxey is supporting and sporting the hat at the podium following a big win with his running mate, VJ Edgecombe.
By the way, I have covered Tyrese Maxey long enough to know that's how he's excited about a game. Full uniform at the podium, not at his locker, not sad. Wants to wear the VJ Max hat to show all of the cameras. It's an easy shot for everybody. That's how you know it's a big win. Tyrese Maxey at the podium, full uniform. Yeah, I've seen that a few times.
And when Jay lets me know that I can shout out where guys can get the hat, if you do want the hat, I'll message him. We were just talking actually during the show, but I'll message him and ask him if all of that, and we'll see. Like Rich P in the chat says, I need the hat, so I'll ask Jay about it. We can see if we can help push that out there for sure for you to get the VJ Max hat. All right, final pause here on the show for us. When we come back, we got to get to the Super Chats. I see Deck Inc. says he needs the hat as well. Rick says loves it as well here on the show. We'll get to your Super Chats, so much more as the Sixers pick up this fantastic win, 128-122 in overtime. Please, everybody, hit the like button. It does a great service for us here. It lets us know how we're doing here on the show. Giving a great shout out to Bree for the great job that she is doing. Please leave a comment. Like and subscribe as always, and spread the word, please. And if you haven't yet, when we're done the show, go to allphly.com, read Kyle's recap, the instant observations. Always check out the daily newsletter from Rich Hoffman, the best in the world. Please go check it out. Like and subscribe, leave a comment, read their stories at allphly.com. Final segment when we get back right here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show. Everybody, let me tell you about a local business that's been helping Philly homeowners and businesses stay pest-free. Evans Pest Control. Love telling you about them. Why? Because this isn't some giant national chain. They're a family-owned, community-focused pest control company right here in the Philly area, and they've been earning the trust of your neighborhoods for years. My neighborhood, your neighborhood, all of our neighborhoods. Listen, pests don't knock at the door and say, "Can I come in?" They're unwanted guests, and you want them out. And if you have people in your life, sometimes they drop little crumbs here and there and they don't pick up after themselves, maybe leave this one on the nightstand. Yes, you know what happened? The pests will show up. You don't want that. So if you see signs of pests or you just want to prevent them before they start, reach out to Evans Pest Control. Visit evanspestmgmt.com to schedule your free consultation. That's Evans Pest Control at evanspestmgmt.com. New year, big goals, more late night basketball games, no time to cook. Factor makes it easy with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs so you can eat well without the shopping or cooking. Quality functional ingredients, including lean, protein, colorful veggies, whole food ingredients, and healthy fats. 100 rotating meals. Plus, if you're working out, coming from the gym, the new Muscle Pro collection supports strength and recovery. I use it. You should too. Always fresh, never frozen, ready in about 2 minutes. No prep, no stress, no worries. Head to factormeals.com/PHLY off and use code PHLY off to get 50% off your first Factor Box Plus free breakfast for 1 year. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easy with Factor. Back here on the PHLY Sixers post-game show. All right, Joel Embiid, player of the game, as we mentioned. Everybody, we again asking you to support the show. We really appreciate it. Please do hit the like button, subscribe, comment, read the stories at allphly.com. Sign up, become a diehard member. Also, Tyrese Maxey was named the All-Star earlier in the week. We've talked about that at length, and we discussed it on the show, pre and post-game here on Monday. But we also did a short on our YouTube page. Of course, go to our YouTube page, check it out. You know how to get there with the YouTube. You joined us here, as always. And we also tweeted it out at PHLY_Sixers on Twitter. But if you go to our YouTube page at PHLY_Sports, we have a short about Joel Embiid's candidacy for the All-Star game as a reserve that will be named next week. I know the day. I don't know if it's actually out there, but I do know the day that it's all that is going to happen. But if you could, please go check out our video, our short about Joel Embiid and his candidacy for the All-Star game as a reserve. He is a 7-time All-Star. He's not starting in this one, but doesn't mean he might not be in the mix. 24 games in, averaging the numbers that he's averaged, the points that he put up this month, as Rich has talked about. Maybe there's a spot for him on that All-Star team. We can talk about it. We can go through ours. We got to give ours out actually before the reserves are announced. So stay tuned for that, where all 4 or 5 of us will give our reserves because it's a big deal. And Joel Embiid might be in the mix. Remember, 2 teams, 16 players for the USA team, 8 players for the world team. My question to you, Rich, before we get to our super chats and Joel's video you want to talk about, photo, is he world or is he USA?
Oh, it's a good point. I mean, if we're being technical,
I don't know.
He just played international basketball. In order for him to
get in, he might need to be USA because there are only 8 spots for international. And you already have 5 in the starting lineup already for international.
It's harder to get in now.
There's only 5, and 5 have already been voted in.
Yeah. No, it'd be a good point. Hey, he could say, I'm an American.
I'm just asking.
Check my gold medal. I'm an American.
Exactly. All right, before we get to the super chat, you wanted to talk about one thing with Joel Embiid.
Well, the thing I wanted to talk about was, you know how you know Joel Embiid is going good? He's pissing off the other team. That's how I know. And there was a video, we're not going to show this, but former Sixer Royale Ivey,
my guy,
who has been KD's guy for a long time.
Yeah.
He was on the Houston broadcast at halftime, and he said,
and he's an assistant for
He's a top
Ime
assistant
Udoka.
for Ime Udoka. Like, might be a head coach at some point. You know,
got some interviews
in a few years. He says the foul baiting from Embiid is out of control. He also said, we got to keep him out of transition. They can't score on us in the half court. I don't think that was actually true, Royale. They were scoring pretty easy on the half court on you. But yeah, he says the foul baiting is out of control. The thing I wanted to show, though, was Joel Embiid got under Alperen Şengün's skin the entire game. And Bree has put up the video. Thank you, Bree. After Joel gives him, I will say, he gave him a little bit of a chicken wing on this one. Boom.
Oh, for sure he
right
did.
In the chest.
That hurt.
But he's
hurt.
But it was a game where the refs were letting a lot go. And those flops, by the way, Joel was doing the little grifty stuff at the beginning of the game.
Yes, he
was not getting those calls. He actually magically made one of those, which was crazy. But yeah, he stares down Şengün after it's over. And there's actually another tweet out there where on the Houston broadcast, he was caught saying, "Bro, everything is a foul. You can't touch him. He drives, it's a foul." So Joel Embiid, just like old times, his opposite number is pulling his hair out. He has no idea what to do, and they're complaining about the fouls. I'd love to see more of this because that means Joel Embiid is going good.
That means Joel is back. That means Joel is back. Great stuff. Great observation by you.
Gene saying, "Where's the sniper?"
Yes, for sure. Officials weren't all that great tonight, man.
No.
They weren't great
let
tonight.
them play.
Not their best night. They let them play, but not their best night. Let's get to the super chats here, Bree. And again, please, everybody, go check out our short on YouTube after the show. Read at allphly.com. Let's go to D. Mormac here saying PHLY is the best Sixers coverage around. Unreal Sixers win. We are going to make a run this year. D. Mormac, thank you, bro. Appreciate that. You don't know how much we appreciate that great compliment. We are nothing without you guys, though. So thank you for checking in and thank you for supporting our coverage here on the PHLY network.
And I will say, we hope they make a run because that's better for us. We have no control over whether they win or lose these games. But hey, if we would have our druthers, they say you're not supposed to root. But hey,
what we root for is for us to be talking about the playoff basketball.
About basketball, which we have not had really those past few years. So D. Mormac, from your mouth to God's ears, hopefully they do make a run. Hopefully we just get some more exciting games because this has been a blast to talk about. I mean, we're 52 minutes in. It's felt like nothing, man. It's been, it just feels like 10 minutes.
It's much easier.
Much easier to talk about a win like this.
Much easier. By the way, can they put together a run? They've gotten 3 and 4 in a row. They've gotten 3 multiple times. Put together a run.
Yeah.
Go on like a 5-game winning streak.
They beat the Knicks on Saturday. That next week has some winnable games. I'm not saying the Sixers, I'm not putting it past them to screw it up, but I'm just saying.
By the way, Charlotte, who the Sixers will face in Charlotte on Monday.
Probably their hardest game.
Blew out the Orlando Magic tonight.
They're playing well.
124-97.
That's actually a hard game.
That's a tough game on the front end of a back-to-back where they then come home, host the Milwaukee Bucks.
I'm talking about
Tuesday
the other 3 are easier.
Yeah, so that would be New Orleans and Sacramento. I think it's Sacramento, New Orleans in that particular order, and then they go on that road trip. But to your point, man, if they can, even if they lose to New York, that's 4 winnable games, though. Even though that one is on the road, that's 4 winnable games for the Sixers next week.
Would take a split. New York and Charlotte, get one of those 2, and then start to clean up against the other 3.
Absolutely, including Milwaukee, who is not playing all that great right now at 18 and 25, 4 of their last 10. Whew, not good for that team. All right, let's go to Davon. Davon says, Maxey booming on 2 people today. We had to win. Well, he got the 1 steal and dunk, and it was Jabari Smith. This was a contention of discussion here. Was he fouled, Davon, or wasn't he fouled? I thought you let it play. You let it go. Maybe it was a foul. Jabari's left forearm into Maxey's body. It's a foul, but if they don't call it, I'm not tripping. Rich said, it's probably a foul. You probably should call that on the little guy that got bumped in the air that way where he was clearly going. Had he missed, they might have called the foul.
It's one of those that they call it if it's a miss, especially with how physical the game was. They weren't going to call it. I think that matched up with the other stuff. The one thing I will say about that dunk, because Tyrese Maxey loves doing this, because we see Tyrese Maxey out in transition, whether he's getting the steal, whether somebody else is getting the steal. He loves throwing down those lefty dunks.
So can I say something?
Yeah.
As a smaller guy that barely touched the rim, I always jumped higher off my right foot.
Interesting.
Left hand. Always. So my near dunks were left hand, not right. I'm a righty, everybody. My near dunks were left-handed.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably related. There are a lot of players who I know, I'm left-handed, but there are a lot of players who I knew who were right-handed who just preferred dribbling the ball with their left hand. They just got
guilty.
They just got a lot better, and that was actually the ball. That was what they did more. Anyway, him dunking with his left hand, it is very aesthetically pleasing. I enjoy watching it. Do more of it. It's cool.
Didn't he end up with like 3? I thought he had 3 dunks. He had the one at the end that was a breakaway. I thought he had 2. before that one, including the one that he dunked on Jabari Smith. Fantastic one. VJ Edgecombe, by the way, that early one gets lost. Oof.
Well, it got lost because the broadcast wasn't showing it. That's why.
Fair point. Fair point. Jay of the Jungle. What up, Jay? Embiid detractors, time for the mea culpas. What say you, Rich?
Jay, let's just be happy that he has gotten back to this level. Let's not jinx anything. Let's acknowledge that he's playing really well, particularly on the offensive end. It's great. I know you're a big fan and you're a diehard with us, but let's just be happy that we got here, and let's welcome the Embiid detractors back on board.
All right, we're gonna get Kyle here in a second from the arena. Great that we get Kyle 4 games in a row. Whew. It will be for Kyle.
He's streaking.
He is streaking, as are the Sixers streaking. Kelly Oubre, Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, and the collective group of the Sixers coming away with a really good win here. One thing I wanted to say negatively here before Kyle comes on was Bona in the hands, man, and the rebounding. This is why when we talked about on the trade deadline show yesterday, man, they might have to address that because it's not great. Tonight, it was obvious again. Yeah.
It's obvious, and that's the worst possible matchup for Bona because that team crashes the glass unlike any team in NBA history. That said, like, come on, man. Come on. Like, you got to rebound the ball better than that. Dude. They let up 2. This wasn't Bona, but they let up 2 free throw. The shooter got the rebound and put the ball back.
Şengün with the last one and then got the dunk. He didn't even, it was a dunk. Let's head to the arena where all the action was, man. Really good game, even better finish. We head to the arena, check in with Kyle Neubeck here on the Xfinity mobile call-in line. Kyle, fantastic game. 94 points between the 3 of Oubre, Maxey, and Embiid. I mean, just to start, can we begin with Joel Embiid and his triple-double? Kelly Oubre combined together because they were the ones that steadied the ship for the first half to keep them in this game, had the lead at the break. Kelly Oubre, Joel Embiid, fantastic throughout the game, but certainly in the first half.
Guys, Joel Embiid played over 45 minutes tonight. That to me is the stat of the game. If we started the season and you said on January 22nd that Joel Embiid was going to play 45 plus minutes in an overtime game, get a triple double, and they would beat the Houston Rockets, we would wonder if he had a bionic leg or what the hell happened. So like that alone, super impressive. But then like I just thought this was an offensive execution game where they just pantsed Houston. They just had no answers for them for most of the night. For the first, I'd say 3 quarters of that game, this was all about. So I know, Rich, I know you were talking about it during the game. The pin down, and they get a favorable matchup, and then it's just Joel on the block going one-on-one against whoever it is, Tari Eason, Amen, Jabari Smith, Kevin Durant, and he was just killing those guys. Like power post moves, going to the rim, getting fouls, short jump shots. It's some of the best post basketball I think we've seen from him. And then obviously the passing, like Nick Nurse talked after the game and said, that's just about him making quicker reads. Like the ball is coming out of his hands faster, and that's allowing his teammates to get these open looks. He's hitting cutters, he's hitting guys in the dunker spot. I think you can see the trust level is there. I think you can see the decision-making has been good. And I just think that's some of the best he's played over an extended period in a while. And then, yeah, Kelly Oubre, Devon, was just outstanding. And it wasn't like it was initially started the game, the starting lineup, just like, oh, they put them on the floor and they blew these guys away. So this was a overtime, figuring some things out a little bit. I think they had only played 4 possessions together with that lineup coming into tonight, which is wild. It shows how banged up they've been or how uneven the lineup has been. But Kelly's ability to switch, and that one sequence he had against Şengün in the second half where knocks the ball out of bounds multiple times, ultimately forces a miss, and then like probably 45 seconds later he hits a transition 3 off a different possession. And like the energy he brings night to night has always been there. When he shoots, he just transforms this team because he is a very good defensive player with some offensive upside. You saw all of it tonight.
We're headed to overtime, everybody. Head to allphly.com for the remainder of the show. Thank you on the television side. Off Friday, back at 2:30 for the 3 p.m. Sixers-Knicks game on Saturday, the matinee, 2:30 pregame right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast.
Kyle, 45 minutes for Joel. Did he have any comment? Did he catch his breath by the time you saw him, or is he still not talking? That's a ton of minutes for him to play.
He actually did talk already. He showed up in his jersey before doing all his post-game treatment and whatnot, and was in pretty good spirits. And we asked him about a bunch of stuff, including the minutes. I asked him about the rebounding, because I think we generally think when Joel rebounds, that's a sign of he feels good. He's moving better. He's attacking the ball in midair. But he actually pushed back on that and said, I think a lot of times what I'm doing is still impactful to rebounding, where I'm hitting a body, I'm trying to box out my man, I'm tipping stuff to other teammates. There's a little bit to that, but I do think what you saw tonight was just a more realized, a more mobile, a more active Joel Embiid. In that sense, he chased down some loose ball rebounds. Normally, high pointing the ball, yeah, he does that every so often, and that's not front page news. When he's sprinting to a ball that's about to drop in the middle of the lane, that's something different. That's a different level of Joel, and I think that says a lot about where his trust in his body, his conditioning, all that stuff is. And look. January is always a good month for Joel. Actually, here's a really funny quote he gave tonight, because tonight is the anniversary of the 70-point game, right? 2 years ago today. And so he gets asked about, you have this big game tonight, you had that big game 2 years ago. And he's like, I might have to talk to my wife, and as we're family planning, try to have a kid born on January 22nd, because apparently it's a good luck night for me. So he had some fun with that, But listen, I just think when they have this version of him, and you can get that out of him for first 3 quarters of this game, and then you have Tyrese Maxey waiting in the wings to offer the closing punch that he offered tonight, that's a pretty dynamic combination as your 1-2.
Kyle, let's stay on the Maxey piece, because we've talked about his ascent and even fighting through all the minutes played, what we've discussed ad nauseum this season, of stars finding a way. In the first half, he wasn't great with his shooting. He finished with 12 points on 5 for 11 shooting, did have 5 assists. But in that second half, to score 18 points and then to put the points up that he did in overtime and play the remainder of that way and put his handprint all over the final score on this one. What did he have to say? Because we did see that he was at the podium sporting the cool hat and all. What did he have to say about fighting through those things?
VJ Max, Devon. Apparently that's committed to now, I guess.
Yeah, and so what did he have to say, though, about fighting through the first half and then turning it up the way that he did in that second half?
Yeah, I specifically asked him what he's learned about compartmentalizing struggles in one area of the game, and how do you just keep going, right? It's tough. You guys that play basketball a ton in your lives, if you're shooting like crap from 3, I don't think people normally respond to that by saying, I'm just going to keep attacking in other ways. Most people just pass the ball to somebody else. He doesn't have that luxury because he's one of the best players on the team. And what he said was, you just have to find ways. You can't worry about, if I had a bad possession on one end, that doesn't mean you could go down the other end on defense and hang your head and say, well, who cares about this play? I'm going to sulk. And I think he applies that same logic to, if I miss this shot or I'm missing these types of shots, it doesn't mean that I'm going to miss layups. It doesn't mean I'm going to miss runners. And I think at the end of this game, it wasn't like they ran a lot of complicated stuff. It was a lot of they cleared out for him, and they got him some matchups where the Rockets have a lot of good defenders, right? And a lot of big switchable defenders.
Except one.
But they were able to find some favorable ones. Number one, I know who Rich is referring to. But also, when you put him in space against these guys, he's got the speed advantage against all of them. And that includes Amen Thompson. Amen Thompson is a freak athlete, but in terms of that 3-point line to rim speed, he can beat him there. So I just think he's been able to, the fact that he was able to shake that off and execute in crunch time tonight is remarkable, because I thought we were headed for just boy, Maxey wasn't good enough and they lost type of game, and he really summoned something down the stretch.
It's what I said before the game, man. They're too big they're too big. They can't guard him. I mean that as a positive.
Honestly, I mean, just the one that was, even though they're too big, Amen Thompson is a fantastic first-team All-NBA defender. And even for him to be fatigued the way that he is, Kyle, in the fourth quarter, final possession, 7 seconds left, they didn't call the goaltending, which was, again, crazy. But
Criminal.
He got there and got the ball off and got by the defender, forcing Kevin Durant to leave his man to come and rotate to try to block that shot. So even with that, as tired as he was, and we've complained about it as early as Tuesday, when we were talking about they didn't have enough from him, just fantastic for him to dig deep enough to be able to do all that, especially against that team as big as they are.
But by the way, the difference is when he gets blocked, like his first couple dribbles are sideways on those, and then he ends up getting blocked on that. That was straight line, and yes, it should have went in. Kyle, my question for you, did they talk about that afterwards, or just like the resilience? Obviously they didn't have to be mad about it as much because they did come back and win the game, but that was a terrible call, and it was like resilient of them to come back and play such a good overtime after that.
Yeah, so a few different things. Tyrese was asked if he got an explanation on what happened, and he just said no. And then he stared straight ahead and made it very clear that he was not going to get himself in trouble, and did like everyone makes mistakes to the follow-up question. In terms of the response, he said that Trendon Watford was a big voice in the huddle saying, it's a 5-minute game. Like, shove that aside, just like anything else. Like, the call happened. And how you respond to that is ultimately. And by the way, I thought Watford, at least in the first half, had a pretty good night. Was a positive contributor for sure. So we'll see what happens with him in the rotation moving forward. And then I think what Nick said about the game, but about that moment in general, was like they felt really good about how they executed tonight. And so even when they had stretches of the game, like at the start of the fourth quarter, midway through the fourth quarter, where they're not making shots and they're struggling, and Reed Shepherd's going a little crazy, they're looking at themselves and saying, we can win this game. We can beat this team because we've been getting the shots we want basically all night. And so I think that's ultimately what they came back to was, the call was blown. And Nick also said they're supposed to call those as goaltends and then review it. Like, that's a mandate from the league, because that's the only way you trigger a review is by calling it in the first place, and then you go back and look at all of it. But I just think what they said was, we've been the better execution team tonight. Let's go out there and prove it.
Kyle, last one for me, and this is just me as somebody who sat next to you for a lot of these games. I was jealous that you got to watch Kevin Durant play like that in person. That was just that seemed outrageous. It was outrageous on the couch over there, but I'm sure it was amazing to be, a couple feet away from him when he was doing that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, for a lot of that game, I'm sitting there and I'm like, he's 37 years old and PG is, 35? And Kevin Durant is like, it's just everything is being funneled through him. And meanwhile, Paul is just kind of stand still, maybe second side guy, whatever. But then in overtime, Paul was better. Like, Paul made the plays when they counted. And that is the luxury of having more of a role player role, obviously. But yeah, like, the Kevin Durant stuff, Derek would tell you, I was sitting there, the most infuriating play of the game for me. Minute 10 left, they tie the game, they make the comeback, and Maxey ends up on Durant on an island. And I'm sitting there like, you sent help the whole fucking game, and now's the time when you're just like, hey, KD ISO. Like, we're just happy that he's 9 inches taller than the guy who's guarding him, and we're not sending anybody. And Kevin Durant takes like an 8-footer that he makes. It's like, what was the plan here? Like, I don't understand why you defend this guy one way the whole night. And he's succeeding anyway, by the way, other than he had a ton of turnovers was the big problem. And that is a thing that when you pressure Durant tends to be a problem for him. But I was just baffled. It's like, Kevin Durant said, who I am. Right? I know who he is. What was the plan there? So thankfully, they got away with that and executed enough on offense to get away with it.
When that happened, I asked Devon, I was like, did they screen for somebody? Like, how did Maxey get stuck on him? Like, it just, like they've been trying to avoid that switch for literally 48 minutes. And then how does he end up? Yeah, that's the one thing. The Sixers matching up in transition, still a lot to be cleaned up in that regard. But you know what? Houston had that problem tonight too.
It's my guy, KD. Next year, he's 37. I don't know how many. I'm going to be there next year for the KD because I don't want to miss the next.
It was a delight to watch that.
Yeah.
Where like every time he was even a little bit open, I was just like, shots going in like this.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Barlow and Oubre. Poor Barlow. Barlow had some great contests against him.
He did.
We just laughed. We're just like, can't do anything about that.
it's Kevin Durant. You know who I am.
Durant.
We know who you
know
are,
who
Kyle.
I am. Yes,
Exactly.
yeah, we do.
We know who you are, and we will see you on Saturday, pre and post here on the show. Sixers Knicks. Be safe, man. Everybody go read allphly.com, the instant observations. Go check it out. Kyle, be safe. Tell Derek we said what's up, and we'll see you on Saturday, man.
Derek, they say what's up and happy birthday.
I'll see.
You guys didn't say that, but I'm
You
making
did
you guys
that.
look better.
Now he's going to be mad because you know he didn't want that out there. All right, man. We'll see you on Saturday.
See you guys.
See you. Appreciate it. Derek, Kyle from the arena. And yeah, man, I mean, Kevin Durant. So you guys know about my daughters. Their favorite player, we all know who their favorite player is. But the one favorite player for my oldest, because she grew up on the movie and the OKC KD, all that stuff. And she was like, Dad, I gotta work. I can't go to the game tonight because she's like, I gotta see my guy. And so KD, man, it's been in the family for years. Just like, yes, I'm working on Saturday. Gene, I'll be here Saturday. Don't worry. Second game, though, the last one before the All-Star break, I'll be off that night. I'm going to that game. Kevin Durant, man. I mean, just fantastic. Me and Kyle, we keep putting off this argument that we are going to have about Kevin Durant's career and all, but he's just fantastic. It's 37, doing this. Surprise, when we give our all-star choices for our reserves before they're announced next week, Kevin Durant is an all-star reserve for me already. I don't know about you, but he's in my list.
I haven't looked at the entire Western Conference, but it's crazy the level he's still playing at.
There's no way he's not there.
What he and LeBron are doing at their ages. It's crazy, and it's really cool to watch. So, especially when you get a Sixers win tonight, but you also see KD, he turned the ball over a bunch, and some of that was the Sixers doing, right? They play that aggressive style of defense, and Houston's lack of shooting around him, even though they did make their threes tonight. But we saw just the size, the ball handling, the shot making. He's one of the best players of all time.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. So when you get traded for him and we have to respond to that, we're like, it's Kevin Durant. We get it. So there's you know what? You got traded for Kevin Durant, though.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, right, exactly. So it's all good. It's all good. All right, man. You are off on Saturday. Before we get to the world famous roll call, you're off on Saturday. Just your quick thoughts, Knicks, Sixers, Saturday afternoon. We'll be back together next Tuesday for Sixers Bucks. But your thoughts, Knicks, Sixers on Saturday from the arena.
Felt like a good matchup in the first two games for the Sixers. Really just felt like the speed of Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe was kind of overwhelming. As we've talked about, Knicks have been scuffling recently. Not last night, though. Not last night.
Beat the brakes off that team.
I didn't see that game.
I did.
I saw the score, and it was a lot to a little. So they're probably going to be feeling a little bit better about themselves coming in. I'm sure they have a point to prove. The question is, because I don't believe Joel played in the second one against the Knicks, but the question is, Joel, that's a short turnaround for him. 45 minutes overtime game. That is a mid-afternoon game. We'll see if he plays. I don't know. I think that's going to be a big part of it, but should be a good one. My only hope, I just hope there aren't a million of those damn Knicks fans in the arena.
There always are.
There are, but let's keep it to a reasonable amount. Some of those games.
It's
the
Saturday.
playoffs.
It's a Saturday afternoon, Rich. You know it's going to be packed in there.
All right. Well, good thing I'm not watching it live then.
You can put it on mute.
I can put it on mute when I rewatch it the next day.
Yep. So, Gene, I'll be here with Roy Burton in for Rich on Saturday, and Bree will all be here from the studio. Yes, I am sitting this one out. I'll be at the next game, though, which is February 11th, I believe, before the All-Star break. I'll be here for that one for sure. All right, let's get to the world famous. I have not written any of these names down, but there are a ton of people, so let's roll through them. It's the world famous roll call. We got to start off with Jay of the Jungle.
What up,
Jay? And the super chat from Jay. We thank you very much, Jay. Appreciate that. Gene Ross. What up, G? Doing Sigs. What up, Joaquin? Vino Wines. Al is in the chat tonight.
Good to see Al back.
What up, Al? What's going on? We got Marcus Blackstock. I see my mom's in there. She's making sure we got she called me earlier. Do you have the salt? Did you go to the market? I went to the market. Did you go? She asked me all those questions.
Let us know this weekend, buddy.
Exactly. We got to drop some salt off, make sure my grandmom's cool.
Absolutely.
All that stuff.
Come on, got to be safe.
There you go. Nikki G.
What up, Nikki?
What up, Nick? We see you in there, Nick. Who else do we have here, Bree? We got the ladies. I saw all the ladies from Jazz, Val, Nona, and Jess. Hey, ladies. Rob Mid. What up, Mid? We see you in there. Andrew Woodland is in the chat. Key to King. What up, Key? Bones in the chat. Rich P. We got Vinny. Music Lover.
And Vinny. You're right.
Andre.
Reza.
What up, Dre? Vic. Lost Sleep TV. You know I'm losing Sleep TV tonight. It's just a late night. We're going to lose Sleep TV tonight. Jack Reacher. I was watching the first one the other day. We're still waiting on the call, all of us, be the podcasters for Jack Reacher 4.
Have you ever watched the TV show?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
You got Prime. Yeah, they got it.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Pretty good. But we do want to be in the movie. What up, Jack Reacher? Appreciate it. Scott Galupo. What up, Scott?
What up, Scott?
Mr. Sandman. Bring me a dream. Kyle Wright. What up, Kyle?
Aaron's in there today.
Aaron in there. What up, Aaron? And so many of you great people hanging out with us here in the chat. Win forever, Igavini, all of you. Black Moses to shut down the super chat. X-Man, what up? Sixers got the win tonight. 128-122. Overtime thrilling. 94 points from Embiid, Oubre, and Maxey. Tremendous win. They're off on Friday, and so are we. We'll be back on Saturday, 2:30 pregame. Roy, Bree, myself, Rich will be back on Tuesday for Sixers Bucks next week. Everybody, make sure you hit the like button. Like and subscribe to the show. Tell a friend to tell another friend. And go check out our short on Should Joel Embiid be an all-star? Think about it. Go check the short out and give us those views as well. Also, newsletter from Rich, allphly.com. Instant observations from Kyle. Great work, everybody. We appreciate everybody checking in. Thank you so much, as always. We'll be back on Saturday. Sixers, Knicks. Please don't bother me about it. I'm going to be doing my job. I'm not wearing a jersey or anything or a hat. I'm doing my job. We'll see you on Saturday. Pre-game, Bree, great job as always. Thank you, sis. Appreciate it. Right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Good night.
We all silly like the mayor.